Well, there's so much of the kind of mythology to get into. I'm sure it's going to come up in some questions from the audience. What I've lately been, in the most recent episodes, most obsessed with and fascinated by is the ZFT manifesto, the destruction by advancement of technology. I felt that...
Zerstörung durch Fortschritte der Technologie.
Yeah, I should have had you read the German title of the show. Sorry. This bioterrorist cell, with this German influence, it kind of reminds me of a techno version of the Baader-Meinhof gang in a certain way. I wondered where that manifesto, the idea for the manifesto, came from.
What was the original? I think part of it was from studying. One of Harvard's students wrote a technological manifesto that talked about, mind control and what was the morality of a technologically advanced society and its progress as an end in itself, a dangerous thing to pursue, the way that some primitive cultures remain the same. So it was very much off of kind of doing homework about the kinds of things that were going on at Harvard, where the character of Walter Bishop studied in the 60s and 70s, and from that we got this idea of what if we made it seem as if Walter had written the Unabomber's manifesto, and it was this genuinely intellectual attempt to grapple with technology, which is one of the themes of the show always.
Well, and I'm glad to hear you say that about the 60s influence in someone of Walter's generation, because I also think that there's a very strong kind of strand of 60s radicalism / utopianism / millennialism to this show. Yeah. And the way the counterculture of that period grappled with those issues and took, if necessary, violent action to stop things that they felt strongly about.
And also the notion of questioning reality and questioning constructs and questioning authority, all things that Walter and William Bell were very much, right place, right time for their minds. And is everything that we perceive, is this the only reality? And it's John. Often John will feed us ideas like, "Oh, have you guys read such and such?" Or it's very much of something that you feel strongly about. Yes.
Certainly, I've observed that there is a genuine fascination by contemporary youth with what we call loosely the 60s. An absolutely genuine fascination with what was happening 70s in the minds of their now parents, perhaps grandparents. The music of the time is still phenomenal in terms of the effect it has on people. It was an amazing place to grow up, and there was a mental freedom at that time that was unique. And as I say, I've seen this in youth. They still, what on earth happened then? It didn't sustain them. I mean, they grew into older people like me, but it was an extraordinary time, and it was a time of amazing potential, where youth believed that the world could be changed. They believed that they could shift ideas that were entrenched in society, and in fact did, in a massive way. That's why it's so appealing, Ken, and that's why we go back to it, and I'm sure that's why audiences are relating, for example, to Walter. The older folks say, "Yes, I remember." Because he hasn't grown old, he stayed young in his mind. And then younger people saying, "That's sort of really cool to be there."
I don't know anything more than anybody else does about, I've just seen the shows as they're airing, but it's obviously been announced that Leonard Nimoy is going to make an appearance in the finale. It's Walter's former, present, future partner. I say partner, but I don't know what. Yes. That's great. He said with condition in his voice.
Yes.
But does it also kind of paint you in an immediate corner because people are savvy enough to know that Leonard Nimoy is not going to sign on to become a regular character in the show and limit what you can do with that character?
First of all, he hasn't signed up for just one episode. I won't talk about how many, but he's going to be on the show.
This is what I was trying to get out of him.
And the thing about, obviously working with Mr. Nimoy in Star Trek was an insane honor, and we had this first meeting with him and pitched him the story for Star Trek, and
here's what you've been doing.
What?
That's what we pitched him. Like, we're going to pitch Spock.
Oh, I thought you were talking to me. Bob does that sometimes, I thought.
I just jumped into character. I'm sorry.
It's so weird.
Go ahead.
Just alert me next time. I have no idea. You scare me.
Sorry, apologies.
You scare me. Where was I, Bob? Oh, yes,
That is
Leonard.
a scary first meeting.
Yes, we pitched him this thing, and he didn't commit to the movie, but he was
read it.
yeah, he was thoughtful about it, and so we were very lucky to actually get him to do that, and working with him was, you know, intimidating and also wonderful, and I tend to work with the same people again and again and again, and that's
Thank
sort
God.
of, you know, but honestly, it didn't even occur to me that I would get to work with him again. I just thought that was an amazing honor, and that was it. And we were literally thinking about, you know, as we had been for quite a while, who could play William Bell? He was in the pilot, the character. And then one day, Brian Burke emails us, "What about Leonard?" And it was just one of those moments of just, you know, like, it was such an impossible dream to think that this legend, would come and you know, work with us on the show. And I called him up. I talked to him about it. He was interested. It was the same kind of thing as on Star Trek. He considered it. We sent him the script. He loved the idea. And suddenly he was shooting the scene. And we're honored to have him as part of, not necessarily regular, but as part of the cast of Fringe.
Mm-hmm. On top of which, he does the role. He does the role, and we talked about it, and he came with these ideas that immediately made you realize, like, oh, now I get it. I understand why he and Walter were lab partners. He does it in a way that's kind of unexpected, and you go, oh my God, I now see why these two men were simpatico, were like-minded, even though one went into an insane asylum and one went on to be one of the richest men in America.
I think I speak for us all when I say that this has been a wonderful season, and we really look forward to the end of the season and next season.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much.